Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bumbershoot, where we're covering life's chaos with humor and heart. And today is the 27th of January. I can't believe we're already almost done with a month. What do you guys think?
Yay. It's
Ron
the
and Tracy?
longest month Literally
ever.
the longest, not because of the dry, but it's the longest month
It's been a long time.
of the
Very
Since
long
the first. It's been a long time since January 1st.
It really has.
So my husband comes home today because he stayed longer than me
nice.
in Italy.
Are you so excited?
Oh, I'm so excited.
You really miss him.
So much.
I bet.
He's had a couple days in New York just to hang out, but I think he slept most of them because of the time change.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still like, I saw so many sunrises because of the time change for me. But I liked it because I wanted to be getting up early because I know that's when Logan's like
Yeah.
the evening. So anyway, but yeah, and I still have a little bit of a raspy voice. Some may say it's sexy.
It is sexy.
Very sexy.
I wish it was sexy.
Do you
but
wish it stayed all the time?
I don't really care. I don't really care.
That was a good answer.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it comes every year, so at least I get it. I don't get it as much as I used to when there was football games that I was
Yeah,
just
that's
screaming for
right.
the boys,
Yeah.
but I do lose my voice every year. All right, so this episode, we are moving into, we're moving into the next phase of my life. We're almost out of going through the phases. We're almost into today, guys, which I'm excited to get to today, but there is a little bit more to catch you up on because I am married today, but not to either of these other two gentlemen. I don't know about that,
Thank
but
God.
these other two dudes. So I do got to get to my marriage today, which has been 23 years. So this one stuck.
Yay.
Third time's a charm, as they say.
For sure.
All right, but we're going to get to that in a little, like in another episode. In the next episode. But for this episode, there was a little bit of last week that I didn't mention before wrapping up before I left my second husband. And to be honest, I don't totally remember how we ended up. I wish we would have let Tracy play. She was like trying to play it for us so we could see. And then we were like, oh no, we got a little distracted. We squirreled on that. But anyway, here's where this kind of came to a head. I told you guys last week about finding the phone bill and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the intuition came actually before that a little bit. I had gone, okay, my dad, I haven't brought Dad on yet. Actually, he's here today.
We should
I
bring
wonder
him
if
on.
we could do him on like the second episode. We could do another episode maybe
That would be awesome.
when Tracy has to leave.
He's cooking.
Yes, he is cooking
Baking.
right now.
A
But,
pie.
but we might bring Dad in. So Dad, just in a nutshell, we call him the Gigolo.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Giggs' nickname because Dad has 8 children from 6 different women. He's been married twice. So 2 are from wives, but then the others are from before me. Before my older 2 sisters that I've mentioned in past podcasts, the 4 of us that grew up together. Now, it doesn't mean they're all older than them. There are 3 older and 1 younger than them. So yeah, that's fun to find out about later in life. So I want to talk to you about finding out their little stories with each of them. But the first one we found out about was before I split from my second husband. And what happened was this is a crazy story, but it's cool to tell because it's just, you can't believe it. So how do I want to get it right? So my dad's, back up. My mom's best friend's Susie, her mom, I don't know her name, but she lived in Alaska. Okay, so let's put that on the little side burner, okay?
Okay.
So my dad, what I didn't know was in the time, remember when I said something was happening with my parents during my senior year? And
Yep.
so during that time, I don't know if it's ironic or not, they received a letter from a girl who said that she thinks that dad is her dad. And so there's two sides of this story, how that all transpired. But the bottom line is that since my parents were so rocky at the time, it was really bad timing for this poor girl to try to reach out. So she got shut down hard. And according to her, it didn't feel good. It was very harsh. But anyway, that kind of put her, so I didn't know about it at the time. And that put her, kind of turned her off from reaching out for a long time. Well, when my parents split up a few years later, it was about 3 years after my senior year, or maybe 2, Dad decided to reach back out to that person who reached out to him. And so I don't know how, I'm not even going to get into how because I don't know, but however, he reached back out to her and said, I'm willing to do a paternity test. So we don't know this is happening, but he flies her out. He lived in Rhode Island at the time. He flew her out. They did the paternity test, came back positive. Well, we had all of us sisters were planning to go back to Rhode Island for a family reunion. So we had all bought our tickets. We were all going. And Dad tells us that he found out that this girl is his daughter and he's going to have her come out to the reunion to meet everyone. So there's 4 of us sisters. 2 of the 4 were like, I don't know that I'm ready for that. I can't even absorb what is happening. We have a sibling we didn't know about. And one of those 2 was Brandy. She was just having a really hard time with it. So protective of her, I called and had a confrontation with my dad. And I was like, listen, this isn't fair that you're just springing her on us. I think it was like a month away. And Brandy's having a hard time with this. I think that we all need to be okay with this before you shove her in our faces. Like, right. I get that I get you're excited. I get she's excited, but maybe this isn't the right time. And we are spending our money to go see our family.
Right.
This is our time with our family. So he got real defensive and just said like, well, that's too bad. She's my daughter. If you don't like it, then
was that going to be the first time that he was going to meet her as well? Or
no, he had met her when she went back to get the paternity test.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, that is just wrong and rude. And I was so mad. So we kind of had words about it and he dug his heels into the ground, which was so out of character for him. He's usually very, very considerate. You guys know him and protective of us.
Yeah,
very.
But I think dad does this thing where he kind of commits and then finds out it maybe wasn't the right thing. And then he's committed. So he kind of, oh, great. Now what do I do? So that's kind of how he did it, is he stuck to his guns and was like, too bad. So then I was just like, you guys, we can do this. We've got each other, it'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. Well, my cousin that used to come spend the summers with me, I think I touched on her a little bit. My Gina, she's my dad's first cousin's daughter. So we're still very close today, but she was flying out for the reunion too. We were on the same flight. Big mistake. Because it was like, oh yeah, he's going to force this. And we were on Southwest Airlines. You get 2 complimentary drink tickets. And we had the whole plane singing and everybody knew our story and everyone was buying us drinks because I had to meet this sister that I didn't know about. And it was a whole thing. We got off the plane. Let's just say we were not feeling any pain.
Oh, good.
Well, I don't know if it was good because then Dad was picking me up, or no, maybe it was the sister. I think a couple sisters, maybe Brandy and I don't know. Somebody was picking me up. Maybe it was my dad. And we were meeting the others, including Lauren, the new sister, and her 2 daughters at this pizza place, Caserta's Pizza on the hill, on Federal Hill. I did not have any business feeling no pain because you just don't have a filter and you're just kind of
liquid courage is always nice.
yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was nice. Anyway, so we got off the plane and my dad was like, he knew he was in for it the way we were both like, so, but Gina left me because she went with her dad and I went with my dad. And so we met. I have to say, as mad as I was, I do think it helped me not be so mad, but I was definitely like, I feel like I was a snot.
That's okay. It was a new thing, and you needed probably a little more time to
And people
process
handle
it.
their stress different ways.
Well, and it wasn't really about meeting her. I was more irritated with how my dad handled it
Right.
than her, her. It wasn't really about her because I was kind of like, I was kind of neutral about the fact that he told us he had another daughter. It was more like how he acted when I said that, we need a little more time and it shouldn't be forced on us.
Right.
So it was more about him than it was about her. Anyway, she was so fun and so great. And her daughters are adorable. I think they were 10 and 11. So excited to have aunties. And so it turned out really well, which is how God works. It's a good thing. We stayed up late nights sharing stories and really sharing like honest stories, raw stories. And, but so the interesting thing is who Lauren actually is to my older sisters. So apparently when they were in elementary school, their mom was best friends. Their mom's name's Kim, and their mom was best friends with a woman named Kim who had a daughter named Lauren Nicole. And so they would and Lauren Nicole lived with them a whole summer. They would spend time together and then Dad took Cammie Nicole and Lauren Nicole to the circus and they have pictures of each other.
And he never knew that was his daughter at that point.
So no. And how this all came to be was because Lauren moved to Alaska with her mom and stayed and lived there through her middle school, high school, and then early adult life. She too got married right out of high school. It was a thing in our
Lauren did?
Lauren did, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so she, as an adult, when she got into the workforce, she worked at the hospital. Well, in the department she worked in, her boss, she would talk about her mom all the time. And one day, I believe this is how it went down, her boss said, "You never talk about your dad." And she went by Nicole. She goes by Nicole with all her friends. I'll tell you why she goes by Lauren Nicole with us. But she said, "You never talk about your dad. Why don't you talk about your dad?" And she goes, "Oh, well, I don't know him." She goes, "I met him when I was 5, but he didn't know I was his daughter. And we took this picture. This is the only picture I have. And she took out a picture of her with Cammie and Nicole and Dad
way.
from the circus."
She knew from when she was 5. And
She knew.
That's crazy.
But Cammie and Nicole didn't know that was their sister when they were hanging out. They thought it was just a friend.
Her
They're
mom told her
full-blooded?
when she was little,
Yes.
that guy's your dad, but don't say anything.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So, yeah.
That's interesting.
So then
So
when
they're full-blooded sisters?
they're half sisters because she has a different mom.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Their
Sorry, I
moms,
get
Kim's,
confused.
were best friends.
Yes.
Well, they became best friends because pregnant Kim went to marry Kim and said, "I'm pregnant with your husband's baby."
Oh my God.
So they kind of bonded over that. But yeah, anyways, I'm not going to get into this. It gets a little hairy, Gigolo, but
I
but
love
it is what it
Gigolo.
is. It is what it is. So
Yeah.
so we, so Lauren she's probably the most like me, oddly enough, really outgoing.
She
and
really is.
yeah, she's an extrovert.
Has the biggest heart.
Yeah,
too.
she is.
Just
She
like
is a
Charity,
sweetheart.
yeah.
Thank you.
What's the order of you girls now? Oldest to obviously Brandy's the youngest, but where's Lauren?
So
is how
Lauren is after Nicole. So it goes Cammie, Nicole, Lauren,
old? Okay.
and then it goes 3 years.
Yeah.
No, 4 years. Oh, what are we? 3 or 4 years apart? I think we're 3 years apart, and then me, and then Brandy.
Okay.
So, but that's not all. There's
I know.
more. There's definitely more siblings. But it was I have to say it was a little bit before the next one popped up. So we got to bond with Lauren.
So how old were you when you found out about Lauren?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. same
I
question.
was in my early 20s. I was like
20s.
23 maybe.
And who do you think she looks like the most? Or
She
resembles?
looks kind of like me and Cammie combined. Like if you
Yes.
morph the faces.
Yes, I
Like she
agree.
has some of me. Like when she lived here for a little bit, she moved down from Alaska when she was going through a divorce and lived with me. And so she was in town, but she didn't grow up here, you know. But she was at the gym working out, which if you know me, you know I've never been seen in a gym, but she was seen in the gym. And somebody walked up to her and said, "Do you have a sister?" And she said, "Yeah." And she goes, and the person's like, "Is her name Charity?" And she said, "Yeah." "How did you know?" "You look like her." So
Oh, gosh. I need to see a picture.
She
So
does.
we're not-
They do look alike a little bit, I think.
yeah, I mean, I think that there's a little when we both had short hair, I think we looked more
Yes.
alike. But then she also looks like Dad and Cammie on that side too. So, but yeah, and then Brandy went to work for her because she owns a coding company. She lives in Arizona now, but yeah, so we don't see
she's
each
really
other.
pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, she is. We don't see each other often anymore because when she was single, she used to be able, like, independent. You know, she would just be able to travel and stuff. But now she remarried and she's helping raise her granddaughters and
How old
stuff.
are her nieces now then? Are they, you said they have,
My nieces, or
her daughters.
they are in their 30s.
Oh, yeah. I see a resemblance to you and her. for
I'll
sure.
I'll post pictures of all of us. Well, the 5 of us on Bumper Shoot Charity Instagram.
Yeah.
So you guys can see. But yeah, so but we, like I said, we don't see each other as often anymore, but for a long time we were really close and spent a lot of time together. So yeah,
Yeah,
sometime when she's visiting, we'll have her on.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. Talk in the microphone.
Yeah. Sorry.
The girls look down and look away and they forget to talk in the microphone. All right. So yeah, so let's make that relevant to wrapping up from last week. So when I went to that reunion, I came back and that husband was acting totally different. So it's my educated guess that while I was gone was his opportunity to swoop in and actually start something with this gal. And so anyway, it was then that I started, like, my wheels started spinning and realizing it, you know, woman's intuition, but it was actually blatant. It wasn't really like I had to figure it out. So yeah, that was interesting time because, you know, the whole thing of the anticipation of going to meet Lauren and then coming back and being excited about it, but then not being able to really be excited about it because now I had this weird feeling going on at home and then all things that transpired after that. Anyway, so it was time that I needed to, like, take some time alone and say, hey, Charity, now it's time to, like, live for yourself, because I went from graduating high school right into a marriage and then out of it and then right into another one. So it was like, this is the time to, like, regroup and say, make yourself happy, do for yourself, don't answer to anybody. And so that's what I decided to do. Except, well, there was a little detour before I really did it 100%.
Oh boy.
What was it?
Because, well, I went with a group of really good friends to the horse races, and there was a guy there, a lot older than me, like way older than my first husband. But now I'm in my 20s,
Yeah,
right?
now
So
it's
it's a little
okay.
different.
Yeah, it's okay
But
now.
he was like, he was closer to my mom's age than my age. But he was like, it's almost what I needed in a way to, like, really catapult me out of that second marriage. And he was, like, right for me. And the good thing is that I didn't marry him.
That's good.
But he was really, like, he owned a really, like, a business that did really well, I'll say, down in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
And he just spoiled the heck out of me.
Oh, that's
so I got to
perfect.
have fun
You
and get
deserve
spoiled
that.
for a while, and it was fun. And I feel like when I look back at that relationship, it was just a few months, but I feel like he looked at me like as young as I was.
Yeah.
That he almost just saw in me like somebody that needed to be spoiled. And so, yes, I did, it's not like I didn't have a romantic connection with him, but it was more about him like seeing me through this time.
Yeah.
And he I bought my first house during that time, which I think I told you guys.
Yes.
He gave me like couches and the washer and dryer and helped get me set up. And just was really sweet and great to me. But then it was like the relationship kind of did its natural,
Yeah.
kind of just
Fizzled out.
fizzled out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but a weird thing is that a few years later, I found out that he passed away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Isn't
That
that sad?
stinks.
It's really strange, to have dated someone that passed away. I know people that have, but it was just
How old
interesting.
was he? Or can you say?
I think he was in he was pushing his late 40s.
Oh, he's that's
He was
young.
but he passed away in his 50s, but it was
Still.
cancer. Yeah.
Oh,
I know,
So
sad.
I thought
So-
I thought you were saying he was like in his 60s or something when you were dating him, and I was
Oh no.
Oh, okay,
but I was in
that's
my
better.
20s, so he was in his 40s. So he was
double.
20 yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's old, yeah.
Yes. So anyway, but it was a fun experience for me. And also this is another thing that's funny because people that listen might remember this. So before the Hummers came out, they redid the Hummers, there was only the original Hummers, the big giant ones in the military, but then they would some people would buy them after they were retired from the military and then redo them and stuff. He had a bright yellow Hummer with a black convertible, so it looked like a bumblebee. So it was the real ones, and he would let me drive it from San Diego. So I would drive it around Temecula, so people would see it. Some people knew it was me, and other people didn't. But people would remember the Hummer. That it was fun.
Yeah.
Then one time when I was in San Diego, it broke down on the freeway. I had to pull over on the side of the freeway, but it was on the way to his house, and he wasn't in town. I was going to stay at his house. I don't remember what I was doing, but he had, I don't know how many phone calls from friends passing me on the freeway because he was the only one with the yellow Hummer down in San Diego. They were calling him, "Hey, your Hummer's on the side of the road." He's like, I know. She's got help coming and help's on the way. So that was funny. That was a fun time. And another thing that I did so then I was by myself, okay? That was good. Something that I did during the time I was by myself was I always wanted black hair. And I was like, I've always wanted to have short hair too. So I thought to myself, my hair was about to my shoulders, maybe just below my shoulders. And I was like, I want to dye my hair black because I'm ready to cut it. So if I don't like the black, then I'll just cut it all off, So I went to the grocery store and bought black dye.
Oh my gosh.
And I just did it at home. I did just harsh black on my hair. And
Well, you knew what
head.
you were doing too, actually, right?
Well, I mean, I knew how to full coverage and stuff, but why didn't I go to the beauty supply and get? I think I kind of was hoping that it maybe would wash out if I didn't like it,
Yeah.
So, I had, so my eyes are green. So the black hair, my eyes were so, I'll post pictures of that too when I had my black hair, but they were so green,
Made your eyes pop.
but and I got to wear different tones because the color difference, But the funnest part of it was that in Temecula, everybody knows everybody, right? Well, I was unrecognizable to people, so it was
I'm
fun.
looking at you right now. I cannot picture you with black hair.
With yeah.
I can't wait to see a picture of that.
I
too.
can. You had it not that long ago. What
No,
was
I
it,
had brown. I had brown hair
It was
for a
dark.
minute.
Like Rhonda's darker than Rhonda.
No, my brown was probably like
I
yours.
mean, but you're
my black
black
was this,
like jet black.
dark black, yeah. But
You'll have to post those pictures too.
yeah, I
so
will.
you loved it.
But I remember that I went to a mixer and this guy that I know really well from the community, he doesn't live here anymore, but I know him really well. And I'm walking up and he passes me and I said, hi. And he looked at me and looked away. He didn't even say hi. And he kept walking. And so I messaged him later and I was like, that was really rude of you to just pass me by and not say hi. And he's like, when did I didn't even see you. I said, do you remember in the atrium or whatever? And he's like, that was you? And I said, yeah. I walked in that mixer and I had been going to mixers for years. And at mixers, it's always the same people. And nobody recognized me. I had to go up and like say hi and so I decided like, hey, oh no, I think I'm just going to bail. Like I wasn't about like going through the whole thing, but it was so much fun. And then my mom hated it. My sister hated it. Brandy hated it. So then I decided to cut it because I was like, it's too much black. So I went shorter. I went kind of like Meg Ryan length shorter. And, then it was one of our friends' birthday, like a 50th or 40th, no, 30th. Wait, let me take me back. 30th birthday on one of like the Hornblower cruise in San Diego.
Oh, fun.
And so there was friends I hadn't seen in a long time there and nobody recognized me there either. And they're like, what in the world are you doing? Midlife crisis. But I had a blast with it. I had so much fun. And then I just went shorter and shorter. Well, then that Christmas, so I probably had it 2 months. And then that Christmas, I was going to Rhode Island to spend it with my dad in Rhode Island. And my papa was old. My papa and grandma were older. So I was like, I don't want to like give my papa a heart attack. Yeah. So I decided to bleach like white back into it, blonde back into it. Well, then I looked like I had salt and pepper hair. Like it was gnarly. And then
how do you get rid of black hair? It's too hard to.
Yeah, we have to bleach the whole thing. So then I cut it more. So I had my hair probably about 2 inches all over my head. No. And it was salt and pepper color. Gosh. So I'll show you guys pictures of that too.
Yes, I definitely want to see that.
Me too.
Yeah. But I got out of my system. So that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Sorry. A little cough. Yeah. So anyways, I feel like that was like, liberating. So I lived on my own. I dyed my hair black.
Bought your own house.
Yeah. I was doing my own thing and I was happy. I felt strong. I was going out with friends and having a good time. I had, Chris that was in here a few weeks ago. Chris and our friend Dino, they were single at the time, meaning like they didn't have, well, I think Chris's wife today would totally support him being there for me, but they were both single at the time. So we all hung out a lot and they were kind of like, they would do like my honey-do list. And so we were all just really close friends, but they really helped me through that time a lot. Like, since I owned a house, like helped me do things around the house and just were there for me. And so like Heather and Jason too, even though they were married. Yeah, they were. They were there for me too. So and Kelly that was here, they were all there for me. And we had so much fun just hanging out. And I decided at that time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be so picky this next time. If this guy doesn't check all these boxes, then sayonara. Well, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes because it didn't last too long, I'll tell you that. I did check some of my boxes, but I definitely compromised on some of them too. And I think that, obviously it all worked out, but I do think you make it harder on yourself when you don't hold out to check all the boxes, right?
Right. Plus, there's not a perfect person out there.
No, there's not. But when you've gone through two, you kind of feel like, well, if they're not perfect, then never mind. So, obviously, my husband today is not perfect, but
he's perfect for you.
But it all worked out. It's been a long time now. So we're kind of at a crossroads. So it's 30 minutes. I think we'll wrap up for today, and then we'll. So I realized when I went home to edit that I totally left out how the picture in Lauren's wallet connected her to our dad. We totally got sidetracked. I don't know how it happens. So anyway, I decided to add it to the end of this piece just because I don't know how to edit it to insert it in the middle. So we're going to just add it to the end. But when Lauren took out her photo, remember how I told you in the beginning that my mom's best friend, Susie's mom, lived and worked in Alaska? Well, her boss, Lauren's boss in Alaska, was Susie's mom. But Lauren didn't know that because she didn't know any of our family. So when she said, all I have is this picture from the circus, she pulled it out, and my mom's best friend's mom was like, oh my gosh, that's Gig. And Lauren's like, you know him? And she said, yes, that's my daughter's best friend's husband. So that's like the craziest part of this whole thing. So then Lauren had an avenue to reach out to Dad. And that's when she reached out to him during my senior year that my parents were having a little bit of trouble and the bad timing and all of that. So anyway, that is the part that I forgot to tell in the story. And it's like a really key element. So I wanted to add it. So hopefully I can figure out how to import this in and kind of figure out how to put it in. I'm not a professional editor, so it's probably going to chop or skip. But anyway, hope you appreciated that I added that little element. And I also forgot to say that she's named Lauren Nicole. Her mom named her Lauren after our dad's real name, Lawrence, and Nicole after Dad's dad, Nicholas, which that part's a little funky because I don't know why you would name your daughter the name of the man that wasn't in your life. But anyway, she did. And then she called her Nicole. I don't know why. Never asked Lauren's mom. She called her Nicole. So once, and when she was hanging out with Cammie and Nicole, it was two Nicoles. But once she became part of the family, we already had a Nicole. So in order to not confuse the two, we asked Lauren Nicole if we could call her by her birth name, Lauren, instead of Nicole. She agreed. She's very sweet and flexible like that. But now, like Dad calls her Lauren Nicole, we find ourselves calling her Nicole, even though we never called her Nicole. But maybe it's because we've heard other people like in her life call her that. But in our immediate family, when we name the siblings, we call her Nicole because we have Nicole. We call her, it gets confusing. We call her Lauren because we already have a Nicole. So anyway, yeah, much more coming to you in the upcoming weeks and forevermore. So we will see you next week. We'll see you next week, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to Bumbershoot and make sure you follow us on Instagram, Bumbershoot Charity. That's where I'll post pictures. We'll talk next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.